Welcome back to the They Know Where You Are mod. Thank you all so much for the support and comments on the previous video. There's a few things I need to keep in mind for this. Practice driving, pronounce bourbon correctly, and thanks to Azak for putting this mod together. No more faffing here though. Tamara has a lot to do. Bourbon. Tamara ends the evening by moving the corpse of the previous homeowner into the front garden. It's a small sign of respect. She tells herself that she has not lost her humanity. Not yet. She fills up every bottle of water available to her because she has some strange premonition about the water being turned off. She puts her fresh veggies in the fridge and reads a carpentry book. Reading expands the mind. Oh, she already knows about that. Well, that's not good, is it? That's no use to anyone. Tamara heads upstairs to sleep in a bed for the first time since all this began. The bed smells like its previous owners, musty, faintly of perfume. Sleep with the door open. In a real bed, she falls asleep with fizzy nightmares of the rotting corpse in the front garden. Early in the morning, because she still finds it hard to sleep, she heads out to do another scan of her brand new neighbourhood. Let's do a little scan of the nearby properties, Tamara. Keep your wits about you. There might still be zombies. In the very first house, on the only bookshelf she hadn't checked, she finds the How to Use Generators book. This is an unbelievable blessing. Listen, she can barely speak. How to use generators. Ah, that's incredible. Incredible. Now we just need to find a generator in the future. Eat some delicious yogurt. I hope it's pineapple flavored yogurt. More cigarettes. And a garbage bag. And another tote bag. Tote bag inside a tote bag. Toteception. Mara loots the rest of the buildings in the compound. Finds some more scrumptious fruit and veg and a dandy new pair of trousers. Padded for extra comfort. You got some new trousers on, Tamara. They look very gentlemanly. Very British. Look like you're about to go take the dogs out. Across the moors. Okay, so that's all three houses clear. Let us move on. Go home, dump our stuff off. And today we're going to head out to West Point. After the total destruction of Terry the taxi in the previous episode, Tamara is in desperate need of a new set of wheels. The nearest town is West Point, a hive of zombies. Here, which I feel like is going to have a number of zombies. Hundreds, thousands potentially. As Tamara eats a donut, lovely little donut, she thinks about her new life. She could survive out here in these houses by the lake forever, indefinitely. But her crowbar is whispering to her. It whispers for the taste of zombie flesh, and Tamara wants to get back out into the action. So begins the incredibly long walk to town, along foggy roads and misty woods. This is much safer than driving, of course, seeing as she can only go 2 or 3 miles an hour. How fast does a human being travel? I'm not entirely sure. Something to Google, something to research perhaps, something to peruse. I love the colour of these little bushes. Tamara is a little bit delirious on her walk. She spends a long time staring at the colourful little bushes. The walk is long and the fog closes in around her. After a short while, looming out of the white haze is the first building, and alongside it, the first zombie she has seen for a while. She investigates the farming shed and finds, lo and behold, farmy things like seeds and tools. There are more weirdos outside that she swiftly deals with. Mara continues on her way and looks over the ruined field, full of rotting crops. No one will ever eat it. It is the very last harvest. She stumbles across this very delightful little farm building and stops for a wee snack. A zombie is giving it the old squeaky on the window. It reminds Tamara a little bit of the sound of nails on a blackboard, so she smashes the fella's head in. Oh, it's gonna be busy. It's gonna be busy. Can't believe I'm beginning this journey again of searching for a car. Yeah, I need to look after my cars better. I need to improve my driving skills, don't you, Tamara? Tamara sneaks into town, fully aware that more zombies are now approaching from multiple angles. She finds a van, but there is no key around. Then the graveyard. It feels like an awful place to be during a zombie apocalypse, and she sees this elderly zombie stumbling through the graves holding a bunch of flowers. Tamara can't bring herself to kill it. To end its eternal suffering, perhaps, but she cannot. Instead, she goes and beats up some churchgoers and checks their cars for keys. No luck. Thanks God. Alas, you also do not have a key. Do we have time to check out this building? Lovely chicken dinner. Chicken and salmon, red wine. Don't mind if I do. I'll take that red wine. Ah, and a key. Well, isn't that just excellent? Eventually, she stumbles across a car and checks inside for keys. She's glad she did, because she finds the keys on a shelf. Whoever was having this delicious chicken dinner must have came over, sat down to have a meal, and then all perished together. Perhaps they are the group of zombies outside the house as she tries to start the car. Unfortunately, the car has no petrol, and despite her experience with trying to fuel cars, Tamara has left her gas cans at home, which means she begins the arduous process of siphoning fuel from cars with a tiny water bottle all over again. Come on, Tamara. Ah, once more Tamara is behind the wheel. She's going to go much, much slower this time. Ah, hello everyone. Yep, don't mind me. Tamara doesn't know West Point particularly well. She had been here once or twice in life, but when she was much younger. She checks the map and vaguely remembers that there's a petrol station on the other side of town. That feels like the best place to go, although she might need just a little more fuel before she can get there. Rather a long journey, and as you can see, the zombies are amassing in town. Don't worry everyone, Tamara drives significantly slower than she had done before. She just sticks the car on cruise control for 20 miles an hour. Even though she drives slowly, driving through the middle of town feels like a completely doomed mission. There are quite a few zombies. She has to go further around because there's also a police blockade. More zombies in uniform shamble towards her. There are so many zombies in town, and her fuel is running lower and lower. The thought of having to ditch the car and run through this infested hole makes her skin crawl. She needs more fuel. She drives along the swarming highway. The fuel gauge is so low. Come on, little car. She gives it a name. You always have to give a car a name. This one is called Charles the Chevy. Come on, Charles, you little darling. Get me there. Charles does manage to get her to the petrol station. But we all know how Tamara does in petrol stations. Not brilliantly. There is an epic battle at the pumps with the crowbar. But more zombies just keep swarming in. More and more approach. Tamara gets exhausted. The crowbar is heavy in her hands. She is hungry and sweaty and tired. She jumps back in the car. She's going to need an alternative. In desperation, she checks a couple of cars in a nearby parking lot, but neither have fuel. Just a little bit. She scoffs some pills to keep her going because she's panicked, tired and hungry. Then she eats a zucchini like an ice lolly. Yes. Perfect. This is the fuel you need. Yeah, they're coming. Oh boy, they're coming. Tamara drives full pelt into town and finds a car park. There's a van in the middle that must have fuel. She faffs around trying to siphon it as the zombies close in around her. They must be approaching from so many different angles. Oh, don't siphon the gasoline. Put the gasoline in. Oh my god. Tamara, come on. Quickly, Tamara. Come on now. Oh, okay, come on now, Tamara. Don't do that to me. Fuel. Charles is pumped up and ready. She drives around and siphons fuel from a few more vehicles, then cuts her hands after smashing through a car window with her fists like a girl boss. I cut myself. Good God, Tamara, what are you doing? The boarded up Spiffos is a curiosity, but it's just a single lonely duffel bag with a shotgun in it. Doesn't seem so useful right now. Firing a single shell would bring all of West Point's hungry denizens down on her head. She drives out of town and then tries to take on the local rangers. She decides that actually this isn't worth it as the zombies pool over the side of her car. Tamara stops at the church at the end of town to grab the gas can she saw earlier. She gets a bit lost and ends up going off-road through the fields. Oh my God, the guy for off-road driving with hardly any petrol left. Come on, Tamara. Hello, folks. Yep, don't mind me. Just driving along. Here's a road, though. That's a good sign. Then, like a beacon of shining light, she finds Terry. Hello? Terry! Our old friend. You have much petrol? It's actually brilliant. Oh, that's excellent. Terry, you've come back to save the day. Sweet, sweet Terry. With a half a tank of fuel, Tamara makes it home in one piece. She smokes a cig against the back of the car and takes a deep breath. She preps an eggplant salad. She adds some watermelon, then pours veg oil over the top of it because she's a freak. Then she puts all of the gardening equipment into the oven. To see off the first day of hard work, she heads out onto the dock and guzzles an entire bottle of red wine and smokes a cigarette. Tamara's living the good life. The sky is bright orange and red as the sun dips below the horizon. She gets up in the morning and takes a peek out the window. Still no zombies. She has some watermelon for breakfast. Today's plan is to shore up her defences around her new home, so she starts chopping down trees with the recently acquired axe. It's very hot outside and her clothes are still covered in zombie guts, so she takes them off, washes herself in the sink, and then washes her clothes in the washer. Distracted because Tamara has some zombie-induced ADHD, she starts a small farm outside with the fork, dressed only in her underwear. She does have very cool shoes on though. What are those? Tamara plants nothing but broccoli. Just shitloads of broccoli. She also finds some worms, which she puts down her pants for later. Some worms, some free worms. Spray can so that we can spray our brand new baby broccolis. Delicious baby broccolis. Ah, alas, that does not seem to. Upon reflection, as she tries to water the plants over and over again, she realises that planting broccoli in the middle of summer is not a brilliant idea. These little green gems grow in firm and fertile soil, which the dusty summer soil of Kentucky is absolutely not. Oh well, Tamara is not really a farmer. These posh bastards don't have a dryer, so she puts her clothes out on the porch to dry. Then she saws up some wood in her underwear. There's no one out here to see and it is very hot. So she has logs but no nails. So she starts disassembling everything in sight. There will never be any guests to enjoy a succulent chicken dinner with, so she smashes up the dining room first. She then heads upstairs to start destroying more furniture, and she turns on the television in every room in the house to fill the void of silence around her. After all that, she checks the garage and finds 3 ready-made delicious boxes of nails. Fantastic stuff, Tamara. She begins the foundations of defensive walls around her house, then barricades the inside windows. In the evening, she sits down and watches the survival show. The soothing voice of the television is like a warm hug. She follows her evening tradition of walking along the dock. It is important to have traditions. She loads the revolver and holds it in her hands. It is ice cold, heavy, powerful. She loads it with bullets, then aims out over the water. She is totally alone. In the morning, Tamara wakes up and puts the worms into the fridge. She had fallen asleep with them in her underwear. She is a strange lady. Today's plan is to head out once more onto the road to visit the more rural petrol station in the hopes that it is quieter. First, she needs to get dressed. Her clothes are still wet, but they'll dry quickly once she's out on the road. So begins a very pleasant journey across the countryside. speed to 20. She doesn't want to die. Out on the road, she stumbles across a comic book sitting perfectly in the light of the headlamps. What on earth is that? She scans the trees but sees no creepy child lurking in the shadows. Is it a trap? A gift? She gets out and picks it up. It's a weird comic that she doesn't recognise. It's sinister, and it sends a chill up her spine. What happened here? Thrown from a car window by an upset child as they fled from the zombies in town, or blown here on the wind, never to be read again. She investigates some of the small, isolated countryside houses and finds one lonely zombie in a bathroom. Hello, sir. Tamara is a little shaky, and she drops all of the pilfered tinned goods on the floor when she tries to load them into the back of the car. Next on her whimsical road trip of joy, she comes across the logging company's warehouse and nearby unfinished building. Planks, 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 planks. So many planks. Does make sense. It's a logging company. Ah, they're building a house. There should be tools here then, surely. Planks, planks, planks. An unfinished home and a little surprise. Oh my god. Other than that bastard zombie that had no right lingering in the half-finished building like a weirdo little goblin, she doesn't find much in the building, so she heads back out onto the road. Down the road, she finds this promising and beautiful building. It has a delightful pink roof like something out of a kid's TV show. She smashes the window and sees the building is packed with crates. The crates are full of food. Most of it is rotten, but there are so many delicious onions. Onions, 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 and more onions.
Onion, big onion. Look at that. Woo! To the good onion.
More onions? Oh, we're gonna be living on onions for the rest of our days. Loaded up with onions, she also grabs a watermelon and sits it on the passenger seat. She gives the watermelon a little kiss on the head. Juicy and green and round. Give him a name. Sit up front with us, sir. Hello? Further down the road, she comes across this very unfortunate victim and steals their watch, of course. Death knows no time. Ah, digital watch. Fantastic. Just a few minor near misses with trees. Oh, careful, Tamara. Tamara pulls into the isolated petrol station in the hopes that there are fewer zombies here. There are not fewer zombies. She gets out to bash a couple over the head with the crowbar, but there are far too many. But she has learned and heeded advice, so she tries to draw them away with the car. She can't resist running a few over backwards. She just loves when the zombies' heads go pop, 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 pop. She stops for a snack of tinned fruit and then watches the idiot zombies race up the road. The winner is currently the zombie crawler, which doesn't really make sense to Tamara. She picks pineapple out of her teeth and watches the zombies like someone might watch a horse race. Now that all the zombies have been lured up the street, she uses this time to fill the car and the gas cans with fuel. Then she checks out the nearby shops. Except for a few snacks and a pair of military boots in the clothing warehouse, there isn't much around. Military boots. Oh yeah. A big zombie almost gets a chomp out of her on the way out. She almost got me. No, ma'am. Oh. As she's about to leave, she notices a used car lot. No credit, no problem at Nolan's. And decides to check it out. Unfortunately, neither the cars in the lot or the inside of the office have any keys. So, a little bit disappointed, but otherwise happy with all her fuel, she begins the long journey home as the sun begins to set. Oh, lovely. A shack of veggies. Oh, careful, Tamara. She is sleepy, to be fair. Her eyes closed for a moment there. She is sleepy, and so she has a bit of a minor bump. Thankfully, she was only going 20 miles an hour. That's a tree, Tamara. Nice. The hood is a little bit ruined. When she gets home, she checks the damage. The hood of the car is completely destroyed. Oops. She eats a light meal and then watches the end of a show on television, then heads up to bed. So ends the next couple of days in the life of Tamara Becker. Her home is still a sanctuary, peaceful and zombie-free, although it won't stay like that for long. There's a helicopter moving across Kentucky already, and it's coming right for her.